Good afternoon. We've got 2 more blog posts for the Friday Light Friday blog posts. I've got one this Friday, next Friday, and then it will be a full year of actually writing these posts. So it's been fun, doing some of the personal and professional work. This week, I'm really inspired. We're going to be talking about A Crazy Light Shines. And I was inspired by Serena Williams' recent Nike video where she's narrating and talking about women and this whole concept of, crazy, and it tends to be a negative connotation, and how actually, maybe if we're using our crazy and being authentic, it'll actually be a great thing for the world. The other thing that's amazing is this Friday, March 8th, is actually International Women's Day. So hopefully you can be out there supporting and cheering on women that you know, and highlighting some of the amazing things that they're doing. My colleague and I, Mila Paget, she is the Director for Campus Recreation and Wellness at the University of South Carolina, Aiken. We have been interviewing women throughout the past year and a half, and we have almost interviewed 40 women. We will have completed about 40 interviews by Friday afternoon, and we're interviewing women from ages early 20s up through 70s about their experiences working in campus recreation and their professional and personal trajectory based on decisions that they've made throughout their career. We've actually used the concept of the leadership labyrinth to create some groundwork, and the leadership labyrinth is kind of stepping a little away from the idea of a glass ceiling. The leadership labyrinth is this concept of there's this maze, and if there's 4 different pathways, there's different things that kind of influence how a woman might select the next path that she's going to take within this maze. And some of those things are actual perceptions, stereotypes, and bias based on her gender. Other things such as human capital, so different skill sets that she's had, or personal and professional experiences that have contributed to her capital. Also the idea of self-efficacy, so the ability to step in to risk and to see yourself being successful if that's a new appointment or position. And then kind of how are women supported in these ideas of working their way through the leadership labyrinth. From all this work, it's been interesting because we've been doing a lot of reading around different topics, and I thought for this post, really wanted to focus on, letting our crazy light shine and this idea of being authentic. And sometimes there's really a kind of a battle and challenge with this idea of being authentic as a woman in the workplace and in different environments. So a couple of the concepts that I'm going to share, one is the difference between agentic versus communal. Agentic is the idea that you come across more assertive, dominant, competent, and authoritative, which tend to be more male-dominated if we're perceiving that's how a man should be. Men typically are more respected if they show these types of behaviors within the workplace. And then communal is more the idea of warm, supportive, kind, and helpful. So the idea here is not to say that we need to be one way or the other. However, women kind of have this double standard, which is another concept I'm going to talk about, this idea of the double bind. The double bind, it really is, it's almost like a seesaw effect of how a woman feels that she should respond in a certain situation. So meaning, if we're confronted with 2 choices of how we might take on a task, we're having to compromise and think about which way is the best way to respond. Now, we might know how we want to respond. However, we know that sometimes that behavior may not get us somewhere because of the fact that the stereotype or bias based on us being more agentic, so being more assertive or dominant in a certain situation, may actually be a detriment to the work that we're trying to accomplish. So how can we change that in certain environments, the workplace or other environments that we find ourselves in? So let me give like a basic example. If 15 years ago, I had worked out like in high school and that kind of thing when I was on the basketball team, but we really still weren't like lifting a lot. And I still didn't really feel comfortable lifting in a gym. And a lot of times when you go to lift, there's always, it's mostly males. And so 15 years ago, I was probably being very kind and trying to seek out help and different kinds of things, and coming across that way. Where now when I go into a weight room, I may come across to people in the space as being more agentic, so being assertive and dominant. I'm authoritative because I'm walking up to the machine. I know exactly what I need to do to get started, and so that could be perceived or biased of who does she think she is, right? Same thing if I'm in a meeting and, I may be kind of debating, okay, how is this going to go if I come across extremely passionate, if it's something that I've been working on for 10 years and I have an idea that I want to share and I'm coming across very, authoritative and like, this is the way, this is a great idea, this is what we need to be doing. And I'm really kind of in everybody's face, but it's that passion and me being able to share the knowledge that I have could come across as, whoa, like who does she think she is? How is she gonna? She doesn't seem like she's gonna be supporting the things that we're doing on this committee. She's gonna be taking over this committee, and all she cares about is her ideas. Now, the double bind, this double standard, is the whole idea that the women tend to be seesawing like how they're supposed to respond, where a man typically in those environments is very well respected if they are being kind and supportive, and so being more communal, but also when they're being dominant and assertive, because we recognize that and we see that a lot more than we have with women in the past. So yes, lots of different things to think about and consider of this idea of thinking women are crazy if they are being more agentic, and the idea that they're doing this whole seesaw with the double bind. Now, some of the things that I kind of had thought about and wanted for people to think about this week is, how can we go about having a crazy light shine? So I think, some things maybe possibly, not judging other women. We don't know what their double bind, seesaw, like how they're balancing and trying to figure that out for themselves, because every woman's experience is not the same. That's what we're really interested in learning more from the women that we're interviewing. How have we judged other women? What could and should we be doing actually in our work environments in different places? The other thing, praising not only women, but also men who have supported women, who have tapped women, who have been there to say, hey, you really should step into this and take this risk. I can see you, being really effective in this role. How we elevate another woman's shine. How can we support her to share her story, to let her be her authentic self, and also support her when she may not be in that environment, and we hear this idea of that double standard of how she's coming across. And then kind of reflecting on how we actually respond to men versus women in the workplace. That's really important. And so the idea is that we have to really kind of think about, how are we going to be supportive in this idea of letting someone's crazy light shine. So in honor of International Women's Day this Friday, make sure that you're sharing information on social media. You're just paying attention to your own behavior in the workplace and different environments that you find yourself in. Give a shout out to amazing women in your life. Also check out, I'll have a link too for the Nike video by Serena Williams. But get out there and just hopefully some of the things that I share in this blog post you can dive into a little bit deeper. Maybe there's something you want to understand or just read a little bit more about, because this blog post is not going to do it justice. So please check it out. I'd love some feedback and things that you might be interested in. We are extremely excited to be getting ready to dive into our data analysis in April and throughout the summer. So hopefully we'll be having some publications coming out soon related to this amazing work. Have an amazing, blessed day, and I look forward to sharing the post with you all on Friday. All right, thanks so much. Bye.